Hey guys, this is UC from iTradePrice. Let us review some of the charts that we follow and trade. Let's start off with Qs. Okay, so let's look at the monthly chart first. We just had the first quarter of 2021 and also the month of March. So let me get rid of the lines here. So you can see for the most part we held this support right here, right, which was resistance. As you can see, we have almost 1, 2, 3 and 4 touch points there, and then 5, almost 6 here. So it's an important price level, right? This is around 304, 303 price level. So since then the monthly bars have been able to close up, right? So that's a good sign. From the overall trend is still okay, and the dips were bought. You can see the month of March we have this long bottom wick which got bounced right from this resistant turned support level. Okay, so that's a important level. Let's dig into the weekly time frame here. Still in an uptrend. Last week we have these this bullish bar, so that's a nice bar in itself, and we have these bottom wicks. A few weeks ago there was no close below the this 18 period SMA. Let me actually change that to default. So I have 20, 50 and 200, right? So 20 SMA in the weekly time frame. It held that level just like how it did previously, and all the closures were above that, right? So that's a good sign. No big bearish bars like this in the past few weeks, so consistent buying. So that's a good sign for bulls, right? Let's dig into the daily time frame. So you can see that one of the levels that really I was kind of targeting that we go over is 324.4. so we managed to kind of close above that resistance level, not by a lot, but still right there, which is always a good sign for bulls. So what is playing out is this head and shoulder pattern, right? So this being the neckline, right? So once, according to the technicians, the measure target becomes the height of the price from the neckline, right, which is right here, to the head, right? So that's about, let's say, 25 points, right? So if you target 25 points above that from here, so it's about 350, right? So that can be a good medium term target based on this pattern if this plays out, something like that, because we have resistance here and then this one here to target on the upside once this thing plays out. Okay, let's move on to Amazon. From the monthly perspective, it looks nice because the way I'm reading this setup is that we have sort of support zone right here, right? For the most part we were sideways in Amazon, right? You can see we have bottom wicks, we have top wicks, and the price remained range bound, and we have these couple of inside bunts right here, this one and along with this one as well. So that makes it sideways and a congested price action. Okay, so what happened in March was we saw a little bit of breakdown from that range, but buyers quickly got back in and bought it up, and that's why we have a closure again within the same price range, right, where it was trading for the past few months now. And now we have this bullish market structure. So let's see if this setup plays out. So usually if that happens is where folks like to get long above the high of the previous monthly bars on a monthly basis. I'm talking about, right? So the high, this one is I think it's like 31.83. That's the high of the previous month, the bar. So if that plays out, the buy trigger becomes as soon as the price goes above that, and usually people put their stop losses at 28.72. So you have to position size accordingly, so that if this is your risk, you want to at least make twice that much, right? So the target would be close to 3,700 price target if the, this one plays out like that. So a lot of ways to play that. And in the past few weeks, you can see it held the 50 SMA weekly bar. Even with top wicks here in the past few months, we don't see any breakdown. In fact, in the month of just this April, we have this strong bar right now. It's, of course, it's still too early to say what's going to happen in the month of April, but for the week's perspective, we have this nice bullish looking bar. And if the price goes above this whole clutter, then definitely 32, 33 becomes the next target up, and then we have multiple other ways to look at and target on the daily time frame, right? So right now, the 50 SMA in the daily is going to be the first resistance initially Monday morning, and we'll see how the price responds to that. It might kind of trade here for a few hours before it decides to break above that. Apple, again, from the monthly perspective, we had this sort of boring price action in Apple. It was a sideways to weak, right? The name itself. But we haven't really seen the chart break down from this 120 level, right? This has been a good support. It's right here, right? You have all these closures above the 120 price range. So if that is how it's going to play out, let's go into the weekly. Right now, yes, I'm just saying not to be aggressive on the bullish side. That's all I'm saying. And the reason is, yes, you can feel strongly towards the chart or the name of the stock, but it's not showing any strong upwards price movement. I'm not seeing any bullish trend bars right now like this. That would imply that the trend has changed. This trend has changed, right? Right now we have more red bearish trend bars, and all these bars are closing below the 20 SMA in the weekly time frame. There's just not big buyers right now for this name, so that's why I'm just cautious on the long side if I'm playing this one. Of course, it can break out, and that's fine, but then when it does, you have to have a plan that, okay, if this happens, I'll do this, and if that happens, I'm gonna act in a certain way, right? Yeah, so far I just see that it's holding this 120 level, but again, that's one thing. It's not really shooting up as well, so not much happening from that perspective. I think there are other better names to trade than Apple. Tesla. Oh, sorry, it was a busy chart. Let's look into the weekly time frame. So the price has been holding this range between 700 and sort of like 550, 600 range, right? After making this break to the downside. So from the moving average perspective, we are closing below the 20 SMA in the weekly time frame. Again, nothing to be worried about that much, but right now the 719 level is tough. We have to kind of get above that to get going. So right now I don't see that we have a reason to be aggressively bullish on this name, at least currently. We just need to wait for certain prices to break to the upside, and then sure, we'll join the party. But for now, I think a lot of people are also considering this sort of again, a head and shoulder, with this being the neckline right here. So if we go above that, it can just kind of target this 50 SM in the daily time frame. So, but we have some horizontal price resistances as well above the last week's high. So we'll see how that happens. But this was sort of a weak bar on Friday. Closed, kind of weak because it closed below the high and the close of Thursday's day as well. Still towards the high of the week, but a weak close because of the trend line. Okay, but good overall opportunities it provided throughout the week earlier when we played this name. Let's look at a couple of other names. Nvidia, super run this week, right? Monthly chart, nothing wrong with the chart. It looks very nice, and in fact it just looks like it's might be ready to kind of make its way up, because that's how I see it. Just, you know, the range is getting tighter and tighter. We had this top wick, right, in February, and then in March we have this bottom wick. So essentially we just kind of stayed right here, right? So now if April takes out the highs of the previous month, then we can start seeing this name break out to the upside. So that's how we will be looking to play this name in the weekly time frame. Good weekly bullish trend bar. You know, this one is nice. Yes, the volume is weak. It was a holiday shortened week, so that means we're missing one business day worth of volume here, but we'll just treat it that we'll just give importance to price. So we are seeing a first close in the week above 20 SMA. So from that perspective, good. We have this resistance right here, you know, which is also a congestion zone resistance as well. Above that we have this one, and then we got this one right here for the support. We got these multiple days of support. Actually, if I go into the daily time frame, you'll be able to see it better. Yeah, so we had this nice bullish move last week, which took out the highs from right here. It's above 50 SMA in the daily time frame as well. It, you know, bounced from this 200 SMA line. So all kind of picture looking nice and looks good. You know, it's a good, nice bullish momentum. Volume was decent as well. So yeah, let's see if it can get above 560 next, because that's where the major resistance is now. From right back here, right here. So nothing wrong with the chart. Nicely bullish. We can look for a little pullback, see if this 50 SMA provides support on the pullback, give us a bottom wick or an inside day, and then kind of go long above that as well. Okay, so lots of. Okay, let's look at Zoom. For the most part, you can see Zoom has been weak to sideways, right? It's just this one right here playing out like this. So still weak, and then market is at all-time highs, and this is sort of just weak bounces right now. You can't be overly aggressive on the bullish side on this name yet, right? I don't think so. It just can give you a trade, but again, you can't hold that trade unless you want to be up, you know, make it a lot or something. Yes, you can play the trade or a break of the level, but overall just bearish, right? Because even on Friday, you can see we made a nice, on Thursday we made a nice move up, but then it gave up all that move and closed towards the low of the day. So 325 is the level, 331.5, 318 is the support below. If we break down below that, I can see a little first touch bounce and then eventually a breakdown if it does not move above 331.5 earlier next in the week. Okay. All right. Hope you guys like this little video. If you have any questions, if you have any chart requests that you would like me to go over, please feel free to reach out. Okay. Thank you and have a good rest of your weekend, guys.